Bear Creek that way?
Bear Creek.
Bear Creek this way. Get through here. We've been back here in the trees clearing out the area, the brush out of the area so we can start construction. We've got equipment in here. We've been digging in and locating utilities. So that we have been working for 11 days on this tree house. We're going to be doing the roof today, but we've decided, I think, to name this tree house Misty View. So after buying that second resort and getting a bunch more cabins, and those cabins were being rented out by the month, and we were going to be eventually planning to rent those out as nightly cabins. And in the meantime, it meant that we were going to have to kind of clean up the act over there.
We ended up putting perimeters around it, building around it,
Oh,
putting
privacy fences,
privacy
yeah.
fences, and letting it be more private. I see these girls coming over, and Salsa said we could use the pool. I said, they did? I said, no.
Like the other resort, that one needed a lot of work too, but again, that's sort of what we do. So we started working on the cabins. We picked out what we felt was the two best cabins of the bunch, and those were going to be our first nightly rentals. And we did a quick rehab on them. So that was the beginning of our second resort. As I went online to look at sort of its history in the past, we found that the previous owners had really let it decline while they were still trying to rent it out as a nightly tourist type of a property. And the reviews were real bad at that point, and so we just simply shut all of that down or ignored it all, opened up a new website, opened up a new Google page to get reviews on, opened up a new Facebook page for it.
The paint that was on it looked like it had been sprayed on, and there was chipping paint all over. So before we even opened up the pool area, I went in there and we did a really good paint job and
on all of the cabins.
Cleaned it up.
It went from gray with purple trim to a combination of kind of a forest green, a tan, and a brown trim. And we did sort of combinations of those colors all the way around on all of the cabins, and it turned out looking like a really nice place after we were done with that. And that was, there was an ongoing story with that resort that we ended up having that one until 2000 and what was last year. So 2020 is when we ended up selling that one, but we had it from 2012 to 2020, and it went through a couple of identity changes during that time. It was sort of the stepchild of the resort business, but it did serve a couple of good purposes. It did give us a little bit bigger footprint. It gave us a pool, and it gave us more experience. And honestly, the experience is probably the most valuable thing that we took away from that property. We did an interesting trick with the financing on that one. We did have enough money to make a down payment on it at that point. But we really didn't have anything to spare to do construction with, so we negotiated with the bank that was loaning the money on it to give us a construction loan to help do improvements on there. And interestingly enough,
we need to go back around one thing about the Cross Timbers cabins. When the house was there, Martin became very comfortable living in cabin that we renovated
It was
and
a nice cabin.
made. And the whole time we were thinking that that is going to be part of Cross Timbers. So we ended up
as
having,
part of a rental cabin.
yeah, we ended up having to look for another place, and so we ended up living maybe a couple blocks away in an A-frame.
Blocks away.
And I think too, we need to talk about God's blessing on that, because it's a way that He provides us and helps us get good deals. And it was listed wrong,
We found a lot of properties that are listed wrong.
very much. Okay,
So you want me to tell it?
go ahead.
Okay. So when we were looking, we had a limited budget and we had to move on it really quick. So we asked our realtor to find everything within a certain price range, and he did. We weren't really too concerned about the square footage or anything like that. We just wanted something that we could afford to do really quick and fast. And he sent us, I would say, maybe 8 listings, I think. And we went and we drove by and looked at all of them, and then there was about 3 or 4 that we wanted to see closer. So we made them, so we got them on the list to see. And the one was listed at like 700 square feet. And we thought, well, we don't care too much about the size, but that's pretty small. But we thought we'd look at it anyway. And it turned out it was an A-frame. And when we went into it, it's like, wow, this is a lot bigger than 700. There's 700 square feet just in this one section. And then there was an upstairs, and there was a build on, and there was all other spaces.
Lots of room.
And it was obviously way bigger than 700 square feet. And so, well, when they checked on the county records, it was only listed as 700 square feet. So whether that was from way back before the additions, or they didn't measure the upstairs, or they, whatever reason, the county had it recorded as 700 square feet. And so we think that nobody would look at it just because it was so small, but it was really very big. And so we ended up buying that and paid for 700 square feet, I guess, and ended up getting over twice that much square footage. And I think what happened was the realtor that listed it just simply didn't bother to go out and measure it up. They just went and looked at the, in fact, I don't think there was even any pictures from the inside.
No.
I think they just went by, took a picture from the outside, got on the county record, seen that it was 700 square feet, listed it for a 700 square foot type of a price. This is a continuation. We're still sitting on the back deck of the Missouri Boat Ride Treehouse that we just completed construction on about 2 weeks ago. And we're the first guests that have stayed here. Our staff over here at the Treehouses, we had actually been building tree houses and owned this place for 7 years. And we'd never stayed in one of the tree houses until just, was it last fall or over the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah, we finished one up and was ready to move on to the next one, and our staff out here said, listen, we're not going to rent this out to anybody until the 2 of you stay in it. So, and I think they may have been serious. I don't know.
Oh, they were serious.
They acted serious.
They say, you guys design and do these things, but you've never stayed in them. Well, as guests, you need to come and stay in them. So
Well, you need to know what your guests are experiencing. At least that's what they said.
yeah. I took them up on it. I said, I'll make sure that we get there.
I told them once they opened that door for Shelley, we were going to have to stay in every single one of them now.
Now it is going to happen.
So anyway, it probably will. So we left the last video at having the Cross Timbers cabins, and by this time they were getting pretty close to being renovated. It was now, I guess, 2013. And we were still finishing up a few things on them. We had bought the second resort, which we renamed the Fisherman's Hideout. And we had traveled up to around Lake of the Ozarks and saw a sign that said Treehouse Resort or Treehouse something. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It turned out it wasn't Treehouses, but that's what